Hello, everyone. Sammy Sports Talk here. Colin Neal's pod number 95 comes your way right here and right now on YouTube and Spotify. If you haven't already, be sure you like and subscribe. Follow us on all of our social media outlets. Links are in the description below. As always, we just passed 300 subscribers here on YouTube. Really greatly appreciate it. Another milestone in the way for Sam Houston Sports Talk. And it's just up from here. It's just up from here. Before we know it, summer's here, and then one of the more highly anticipated Sam Houston football seasons will begin before we know it. But first things first, let's talk about some Sam Houston baseball. Their regular season ended this past Saturday. I almost caught myself there. It wasn't a traditional Friday, Saturday, Sunday series as they played La Tech on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The Bearcats finished 24-32 in the regular season, 13-17 in conference play to finish officially number 8 in the Conference USA standings. They ended their year losing 2 out of 3 against Louisiana Tech, but they did end up grabbing that season finale, spoiling senior day for Louisiana Tech in a 6-0 victory out there at the Love Shack. I mean, they dropped the first 2 games. They had a close battle on Thursday where you had Ryan Peterson on a pitch count. He went 4 innings, had 74 pitches, if I remember correctly. And then it was close again on Friday. It's just La Tech hitting a big grand slam at the end of the game that basically separated both sides. That final score of that game was 8-2. That grand slam coming in the bottom of the 8th when it was 4-2. Tay Hickman, unfortunately, taking a loss. He had a really good game, really. To be fair, this is probably a decent road performance, 4 innings. I'm sure he was on a pitch count as well because he only went 65. Hollister went 3, gave up 3 earned runs. Murphy finished it out, pitched 1 inning, gave up 2. Not, and also just a bad offensive night, especially on Thursday and Friday. 13 strikeouts on Thursday rather, and 10 strikeouts by the bats on Friday night. And you start seeing this, okay, we're starting to get back into a bit of a circle here. The pitching is starting to figure it out. I mean, I know those 8 runs on Friday are a bit of an eyesore, but overall the pitching was pretty damn good, if I may say so myself, over the series against La Tech, where La Tech has been finding itself, especially on the pitching and the hitting. Like, they were, like, if they weren't struggling at portions of this season, I mean, you can say this for a lot of teams, but this team could legitimately be a lock as an at-large, and then you'd be talking about a potential 4-bid Conference USA league, which is still possible, but I'm not going to get into that just yet. I mean, it's still possible or not just yet, not now, because that's a long and thought out discussion, because Liberty is a good shot at getting an at-large bid. Jack State, Missouri State, obviously, I think Jack State and Missouri State are locks as regional teams, even though Missouri State has kind of fluttered a little bit lately. I think with how they did over this season against specific teams, getting big wins, that I find it hard to believe that they won't make it in, at the very least, as a at-large team into the regionals. But we're not here to talk about that. All in all, this encompasses, it comes down to what happened on Saturday afternoon in Ruston. It was a pretty good game for the Bearcats, and for some, and I saw this and I agree with it. This was all around the best win of the season when it comes to all around performances. I mean, 6-0. I mean, Orth got it started with a single up the middle that scored both a couple of runs. Baker with an RBI single. Corcoran and Cotton reaching base in the 8th, and then coming in, Corcoran coming in, reaching on a throwing error that allowed Frandon to score. And then Caleb Cotton executing a perfect bunt to drive in a run. It was a beautifully executed bunt down the right field line to score a runner from third. Just too close for any throw to be made at home. And then Wes Baker hitting a single up the middle to score Alvord. I mean, he did get thrown out, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. Still a 6-0 game. Baker went 3 for 4 in that game and did strike out just once. I mean, overall, the bats only struck out 7 times. 2 of those uncharacteristically from Ryan Frandon, who we'll get to in just a little bit. Caleb Cotton 1 for 3 with an RBI, doing his thing. Alvord reaching base, Corcoran reaching base. But the highlight of this game was the fantastic pitching from a pair of baby cats. Gabe Winans starting this game, he went 3 shutout, giving up just 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Faced 10 batters, went 60 pitches. But then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, you wonder, I did anticipate this guy coming in sometime this series to, just to throw some innings, but he just ended up having one of the best games I've seen in recent memory from a relief pitcher. Zach Allerid, 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts, just 1 wild pitch. Went the 6 innings on 67 pitches. It was an absolutely great performance by both of these baby cats, especially from Zach Allerid. He only allowed 3 base runners, and guess what? Pitching staff, 2 walks, 1 hit by pitch in that one whole game. You go back and look on Friday night, 2 walks, 3 hit by pitches. You're going to start seeing a theme here in just a second here. You'll get it. 5 walks, 1 hit by pitch. It got a little crazy there on that game on Friday night, but you see a theme here. They're limiting the free passes. And that has been a problem with this pitching staff, was giving up too many free passes. And hey, guess what? You're going to give up free passes. You're going to walk a few guys. You're going to eventually hit a guy too. It is what it is. But what really tells me about pitching staff is how well they get around things when they do allow free passes. At times this year, it's looked excellent. At other times, it's looked grave. It's looked not good at all. But you can see progress overall. He gave up 2 runs on Thursday, again 8 on Saturday, but nothing on Sunday, or Saturday rather. You are seeing progress that is being made. By the way, talk about that Thursday night game. Shout out to Ryan Peterson. He finished the game after looking like he rolled his ankle a bit. Still put a 0 on the board. 4 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 1 hit by pitch, 74 pitches. So he's obviously on a pitch count, probably around the 70 to 80 pitch range. And of course, Monday and Anders came in and finished off Anders with another great appearance out of the bullpen, throwing 3 shutout innings. Just unfortunately, the Louisiana Tech was able to tag Monday in the 5th inning there on 2 runs. Casey McCoy hitting a 2-run shot to give the Bulldogs the lead. 9-hole hitter striking the Bearcats on that front. But overall, Jared Curtis also hitting a homer. But overall, it's not exactly a weekend you could sit here and say, oh, this is not a bad weekend. Overall, it wasn't. Why? Because there's improvement there. And while the bats didn't really necessarily show up on Thursday and Friday, they did show up on Saturday. And it's largely also without your top 3 guys being as good as they have usually been. And that comes to Ryan Frandon. He has had a bit of a rough last couple of weeks. He had a good series against Delaware, but there have been some stretches lately where he has not looked like his usual self. And hey, guess what? Guess what? That happens. You're going to go through stretches where you're not, where some hitters are just plain not themselves. Like he went on an 0 for 8 streak between HCU and Louisiana Tech. He did rattle off some multi-hit games against Delaware. But it just seems like Frandon hasn't exactly been, from what I'm sure he would probably tell you, up to his standards. And that's something that that's what makes me a little bit confident in this offense heading into the Conference USA tournament, which we'll get to in just a moment. But hey, if Frandon seemed to find something on Saturday, on the 15th and the 16th, that Friday and Saturday game, he got 2 hits on the 15th, which is that Friday game. I got a hit on the 16th. I don't think the strikeouts are going to be like that forever as well. He struck out multiple times 2 of his past 3 games where he went on a lot of good stretches where he did not strike out at all. He's only struck out multiple times in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. 1, 2. Let me make sure. Maybe make sure that my eyes weren't lying to me. 3, 4, 5. He's only had 5 games where he struck out 2 or more times, and the most he struck out in the game is twice. And what's been kind of odd though is that he's been striking out looking, and he's been swinging and missing. There was a good stretch where he didn't swing and miss for weeks. He was on one. He was seeing the ball good. So I'm not really too worried about him. I think just step back, relax. Okay, it's a whole new season. Maybe that gets him going. I'm pretty confident that Frandon will get things going. He's just been hitting the ball, but he's slumping in kind of his own way where he's hitting the ball hard, but unfortunately right to gloves of the opposing team. But I'm not too worried about him. I want to see how Jarrett Curtis and Cade Corcoran get going. Corcoran has been a bit of a rough stretch lately, but hopefully he's starting to figure it out. Curtis as well a little bit. I want to see that. Overall, I think the top 3 is going to be very important heading into the Conference USA tournament. And speaking of that, so you can see here with the pool we're at. Well, it's a pod, whatever you want to call it, but you can see where Sam Houston is right here. They will face Louisiana Tech as the away team, as the visiting team, on Wednesday, 9 a.m. Central. These are Eastern times, 9 a.m. Central against Louisiana Tech. So they'll be going at them for a 4th straight time. We'll see what happens there. And then they'll face Liberty in the second game at 9 a.m. on Thursday. And look, it's simple here for Sam Houston. I'm not going to sit here and give you like numbers like, oh, this is what's going to happen here. I'm just going to sit here and tell you right now that what they just need to do is win. They need to win both games if they want to ensure themselves to move out of this pod. Louisiana Tech, I know that there's been some discussion that you probably prefer the 9 because you match up with Western Kentucky and Jackson State. I mean, either way, you could argue one or the other. The pod I definitely didn't want to be in was that 7th spot because you'd had Missouri State in DBU. You'd be in the same pod as them. That would be very, very difficult to say the least. So I think this is the second best case scenario. If you talk to others, it's sort of almost the best case scenario because you've seen La Tech already. They beat you a couple times, but now it seemed like you figured them out a little bit, especially coming off that win on Senior Day. 6-0, but I'm sure they're going to be out for some revenge. Liberty will be interesting because if you do end up beating Louisiana Tech, then you're facing against a Liberty team you had not faced this year. That was the one team you did not face in Conference USA play. So that in the end, in one way, is a wild card factor in this whole thing. I'm not saying that Sam Houston's going to have a chance here, but it is an interesting conversation to have. Let's take a look at some pair ratings here real quick, as I will move myself here on YouTube to the right, shrink myself a little bit so that way I can give this image some room to breathe. Bam, there it is. You can see a little bit of the pair ratings that I've been looking at. I highly recommend this website. It's a very good website. You can see how good the pitching has been for La Tech. The runs per game on La Tech's side is a little lacking, but I will say that they've for the most part improved that, especially since they got back Sebastian Mexico. But pair ratings at this time, 2:17 a.m. Central Time here in the state of Texas. They give Sam Houston a 32.5% chance to win this one game against Louisiana Tech, against a top 50 ERA team. Just an overall really good pitching. You can see on the right there where the Louisiana Tech pitching is labeled. On the right side, Sam Houston's offense obviously not been good this year, but hopefully with the signs that they probably showed on Saturday, that they could be starting to find the form a little bit. And maybe if this whole season does turn out to be a whole bit of a circle, it goes back to what they were at McNeese when they had all facets working with pitching and offense working together, and being a team that they can be. So that's Louisiana Tech. Let's now look at Liberty. And on this side, Sam Houston will be the home team, by the way, in this game. Let's take a look at that real quick, looking at it at 2:18 a.m. Central Time here in the state of Texas. They give pair ratings give Sam Houston a 24% chance. You can see on Liberty's side of things, they have a pretty good offense. They have pretty good pitching. Number 35 in the net rankings, which it is an interesting argument here to be made that if Liberty was to lose this game against Sam Houston, their at-large bid chances would be almost, if not completely, shot. So Liberty's going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They should win. They should go all out and try to win this game. I don't know if this game right here is where you would see Ryan Peterson. It'd be very interesting to see how Sirianni and his staff put together the pitching rotation. Because Peterson, who pitched on Thursday, this game is on Thursday, so he would have the normal rest. Ryden did not pitch, so maybe he goes against Louisiana Tech on Wednesday. I mean, Ryden, what seemed like he didn't pitch due to soreness, is what Sirianni told us, the media, after the game against HCU, the final midweek of the year. There's just a lot of puzzles. There's a lot of puzzle pieces to try to figure out, but it will be interesting to say the least about what good old Bearcats are going to do this go around in the Conference USA tournament. So, well, my keys, simple. I'll kind of go in a very weird order here. For the bats in this one, and this could also be the pitching here. But for the bats, control the zone. That's what they've been preaching. That's what the hitters are preached at Sam Houston. But sometimes you have to make something happen. There were plenty of times, and I wish there was some way to find out how many times that the Bearcats have struck out looking, but it's been at a alarming rate, to say the least. The strikeouts were on Thursday and Friday, especially looking. And look, if you're going to strike out, personally, I'd rather you go down swinging than looking. Of course, make sure you don't swing at a very bad pitch where that could have been a ball and you could extend the at-bat, but you get the idea here. You have to sometimes force the issue, but also stay within yourself, and that is a very difficult thing to do. At least that's how I view things. But there's just sometimes where the bats have got to make something happen themselves, adjust to a pitch, and not rely too much on the umpire's zone that day. Pitching right here, spin them to death. The spin has been looking pretty solid overall across the pitching staff, based on my view of things, how the pitches have looked, my personal opinion. Especially what Zach Allred did against Louisiana Tech along with Gabe Wine is they just spun him to death, causing a lot of soft contact. I mean, you're going to give up hard hit balls every now and then. That's part of the game. They're going to happen. You just got to hope that they don't end up as base hits or over the fence, to say the least. Keeping it here with the pitching, limit the free passes. I mentioned this already. You're going to walk people. You're going to hit people. But when you limit the free passes, you're not giving the team a lot of opportunities. But if you do end up giving away some free passes to them getting on the base pass, how you respond, how the pitching staff responds is going to be key here this upcoming Conference USA tournament when it comes to the mound. And going to the fielding real quick, the middle infield has to be consistent. The middle infield has to figure out something. It seems like at times Alvord and Martinez either both are not on the same page or they're not on the same page sometimes with the catcher, because there's been quite a few occasions where somebody has not covered the second base bag in order to field a throwdown by the catcher. And the double plays have been interesting. They've got to be smoother on that front. Hitting wise, they can do better as well. But overall, that middle infield needs to get things hampered down. Because if there's one thing that teams will do in Conference USA tournament is make you pay for defensive miscues. My wild card, my X factor going to this one is going to be Hunter Alvord. He has been consistently good with the glove, but it's the bat that is what I'm going to be looking at. The glove I'm not too worried about. He's given me the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that, but it's going to be the bat. His bat right there, if he is going to be back at the cleanup spot, if Nathan Fink is not going to be ready to go, Lord knows how long he's out. I have not heard anything. He was in the sling. He was in the sling, I believe, on Tuesday, and I didn't see a sling on him at all in La Tech as far as I could see. But the fact remains Hunter Alvord's got to step up when it comes to the bat. Also trying to force the issue sometimes, because when he makes contact with the ball hard, consistently. He has that home run power. We saw a great stretch in the middle of the season where he was on fire. And hey, listen, he is the CUSA leader in strikeouts, which is, I mean, not exactly what you want if you're Sam Houston or if you're anybody for that matter. But looking really quick at his numbers on the season right here, he has a on-base percentage of .356, which is actually pretty solid. But he's batting .227. If he can find a way to get going, that on-base percentage goes up. I mean, he has 71 strikeouts, but he has also walked 39 times. If he finds a way to quell down the strikeouts and make contact with the ball consistently, because he does have some pop behind that bat, we've seen it, and he has been pretty unlucky at times this year. So keep an eye out for Hunter Alvord. I personally think that he's going to be the Sam Houston X factor going into this one. But overall, look, when it comes to tournament play, no matter who you are, what your regular season record was, you're in and you have as equal opportunity as anybody else in that field. Everyone's 0-0. The message is just simple here in this first round of the Conference USA tournament. And that's just win. If Sam Houston wins twice, they move on. That should be as simple as that. And we'll see what happens. Of course, they begin their journey Wednesday, 9 a.m. Central to take on La Tech, and then Thursday, 9 a.m. Central, taking on the Liberty Bibberty Flames, the the Emus. No. It's that joke's too easy, but they probably get bombarded with that joke all the time. But yeah, and that is the Sam Houston Baseball Conference USA tournament preview, and that is basically the best I can do, and that is really all we're gonna get into in this pod. I hope you really enjoyed this one, and let's see what the Bearcats can do this upcoming Conference USA tournament. I'm calling you for Pod 95, saying so long for now, and of course, as always, be sure you like, subscribe, follow us on all of our social media platforms. We greatly appreciate it. Have a good one, everybody. And as always, eat 'em up, cats.